Derek Jones. By the way, are you related? You know this guy?
You're in trouble now, sir. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I always thought my dad was important, but for some people, geez. Also want to thank, obviously, his friends and the family. I want to specifically, thanks for coming, my Aunt Ninny, my Aunt B, and of course my Uncle Dave for showing up for such an event. I know you guys had to travel quite a ways, but being the patriarchs of my family and coming to see your baby brother off today, I really appreciate Ninny, B, and Dave coming. My dad, the steps of a good man. Where to start with this? Well, everybody has a lot of stories and a lot of passages, and again, I'm not going to talk long, but I assume everybody has heard the story of how their father had to go to school 10 miles in the snow, in the wind, walking with no shoes because Tuesday, you've heard the story? Because he went barefoot because Tuesday was his sister's day to wear the shoes. Oh, you guys heard that story too? Okay, all right. Yeah, exactly. Those are the things they teach in dad school. I just want to kind of take you back to just some memories I'm going to share with you about my dad that you might have also shared from your parents or passed down to your children. Do you remember like your best birthday gift? Your best birthday gift? You remember the Bible verses that you had to learn in Sunday school? You know that bike that you had to beg, plead, rake the leaves for, and the pair of roller skates? Obviously, the Halloween costumes that weren't really costumes. I was a ghost in jeans quite a few years. Those who will. Remember going out flying a kite, trying to get the thing up. You should have seen my dad trying to get the kite to get in the air. When your parents trusted you enough to make hamburgers and fries, and you realized the grease just kind of, you wouldn't know that, all right. Obviously the men in here, when your father taught you how to tie your first tie. Getting help with your homework, your first dog, your first pet. And your father not being too mad because when you get the dog, it wets in the car. Looking out in the stands to see your parents after you scored a touchdown or you've said a speech or a play that you might have been in. Remember running to the ice cream truck, then realize you got to run in the house real fast to get some money. Oh my goodness, bringing your girlfriend home to meet your folks and making sure you give her a little prep speech prior to meeting. I don't know if you've ever had to share the bathroom with your parents. Early education, enough said. Trying to explain to your parents what's a cool haircut and what isn't. We had that conversation today, but that's another story. Having to hear for the 100th time, because I said so, that's why. Or when someone died and your parents had to explain that to you. You wanted to watch cartoons, but your dad wanted to watch the news, even though he fell asleep in front of the TV. You remember when you needed to borrow some money? You remember when you needed a ride to the movies and needed money to go to the movies? When you had to get the tuxedo and the car for the big dance or for the prom, and of course needed the money for those too. You get those, all right. Or what is going on today with myself as well as my son. When you leave home for college or that for the military, for the big job, and you don't realize how much you're going to miss your folks. Those kind of things. Well, I'm going to quote someone my dad used to try to get me to read and review, a gentleman named Robert Fulan, who wrote a book that says, "All I really needed to know, I learned in kindergarten." Not quite Sly Stone, but you feel me. The book says, as you learn in kindergarten, that you're supposed to share everything. You're supposed to play fair. You're not supposed to hit people. You're supposed to put things back where you found them. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Flush. That's important in our house. Goldfish and hamsters die. I could care less what dietitians say, but warm cookies and cake and cold milk, they're good for you. Take a nap. Get your rest. Remember that Dick and Jane books, the biggest word was look. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Everything you need to know is in here somewhere. The golden rule, love, basic sanitation, ecology, politics, equality, and sane living. Think what a better world this would be if we just stopped and had cookies and cake and milk at 3 o'clock every day. If our government had a basic policy to always put things back where they found them and cleaned up their mess. And it's still very true. No matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it's best to hold hands and stick together. Dad, I want you to know that you've... well, stand up. Stand up. Because I want everybody as my witness here.
Doesn't matter.
I want you to know that you're my mentor, sometimes my loan officer. You're my friend. You're also my candidate for the Board of Trustees.
All right. All right.
And you're Malcolm's papa. That's all day. And most of all, you're my dad. Congratulations.
Could I just, Derek is my son, and my daughter, Janice, and her husband, Bill, is here. Jan has 3 daughters. Help me, Nirel, Natanya, and Nigel, who's 6 weeks old. And my daughter, Terry, and her husband, Charles, could not be here. They live in Newport News, Virginia. And I'm proud of all of them. They are all such wonderful kids. But you do know, Derek mentioned about the loan officer, they never stop needing money. But he's the one to convince me. You know, there's so many wonderful stories when he was going to college, and he got to go to Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan and so on, and I'm trying to figure out how come I have to send money. He always convinced me. He got the cheap fare out of Tijuana, and he rode on the wing, and he didn't have to pay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour. Let's see it. Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Hey, Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Again, Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Get up, Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Everybody, Willie, with everybody, Willie, man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Hey, Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Hey, Willie, he's our man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Give him a hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, Dr. Willie O. Jones.
Oh, this has been a wonderful evening. You know, I thought that the college would do something, and I thought they were going to have the cake with your picture on it and the pink lemonade. I did not know we were going to have such a wonderful evening. And I just thank everybody. My staff gave me this little story. There was a young boy who had to do some closing remarks and was having some difficulty in being brief because it had been a long evening and everybody was tired. And mothers, as always, not only are they compassionate, but they know the right answer and what to say. So his mother told him to say, "Thank you, and may God bless you, one and all." And and so I think that should be my message. I do have to thank the committee. But before, there's so many, I didn't talk about, I have some friends here who I worked with in the late 50s for United Airlines. You know, it's wonderful when you have people who know you for a long time and they still are your friends. I have some friends, we didn't talk much about California State University, Dominguez Hills. I started my higher education career there, and I have some friends from the mid-60s that I worked with at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I think it's important that I say I was the first financial aid director at California State University, Dominguez Hills. But now to keep that tradition, I was the first and only financial aid director at Compton Community College. It's so many wonderful people here. All of my community college colleagues, I had an opportunity to serve as our state association for the community college, and Tony DeBar was also our state association from Long Beach City College. And they're such wonderful helping people. We can call each other, and we have so much technical stuff we have to do. And they'll stop and help you research the question and call you back. And they're just wonderful. And I love them all for coming. I have them from Northern California, Southern California, and they came tonight. And you know, that just makes me feel good. And I just want to thank all of you. I would like to thank the committee. Bob, would you stand? I really thank you for serving as our MC tonight. Didn't Bob do a fine job? And I want to say that Dr. Cobbs provided the band with the music. I have to say, when I was talking to the catering department, and we kept having more and more people who wanted to come, and we didn't have the space, and I told her we had this 15-piece band, and she said, well, that'll take up 3 tables. And so she said, well, why don't you just ask them to do a combo? I said, I cannot ask David Cobbs to do a combo. I want to thank, and our offices are just across from each other. And when I'm having a struggle with something, I go and talk to him. He's always in trouble. But before we leave each other, we're both laughing and just having a wonderful time. When I told him I was going to retire, he said, I don't know what you're saying that, you've been retired for the last. But I do thank him for the music. I would like to thank the committee, Barbara Sullivan, who is the CEO and president of Sullivan and Associates, responsible for the decoration. Betty Blake. Is Mrs. Blake here? That was not, they didn't mention one of the things I do sing in the choir. And they didn't mention that. But you know, because of my schedule and environment, sometimes I can't make rehearsal. But I always send, to my director that I'm not going to be there. And my director of the choir is also here tonight. But Betty Blake is our church connection on the committee. Ruth Saunders, where's Ruth? Ruth has worked so hard. She was the one that you sent the money to. And we didn't know whose name, fish, chicken, bread, butter. And people called today, could you put me on the list? And and of course they haven't paid yet. But but Ruth Saunders was the one who was responsible for all of that. Miranda Montgomery, Miranda, would you please stand? She's a dean at Drew University and also used to work at Compton College. A very dear friend of mine. Mrs. Shirley Edwards from Compton College, who's a vice president of academic affairs, and Nora LeVice, who did the wonderful song, and there they are in the back, still working. And Ms. LeVice on the staff invited her family responsible for the program. Did you like the program? Yeah. And David was the only man on the committee. And I asked him, did he do a fine job? And they said, David who? But I want to thank them, and they all have done a very fine job. You know, I couldn't ask for more. I had my children, my grandchildren, my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, my friends, my pastor, my bishop. I just don't know what to say. I think we ought to do this every 40 years. So I want to thank you. I hope you stay for dancing. Thank you so much.